Welcome, friends. Today, we're doing another first impressions video. Marvelous. And in this video, we will be continuing with our exploration of the mighty Etat Libre d'Orange sample set. Extremely good value, 42 quid, 20 fragrances, good size samples, excellent. So, first off, we shall be trying I Am Trash, which is this one here, or this one here. So, I Am Trash was released in 2018, and the perfumer was Daniele Andrier. And I think she is the Prada in-house perfumer. Or the Cartier one. I can't remember. It's one of the two. Excuse me. So, this has a very interesting story about it, and it's that the ingredients, or a lot of the ingredients, were recycled and extracted from unused materials or spent materials in the perfume industry. So it's sort of like upcycled or recycled stuff, you know. Notes are apple, isoe super, akigala wood, rose, atlas cedar, and sandalwood. Straight away, get the apple and the rose. It's very pleasant. It is a very pleasant fragrance, this. I have smelled it before, and I do think it's very nice, but it is a little bit soft. It's a little bit, I want to say feminine, but I wouldn't say feminine as much as I would say girly. You know, it's like teenage girl sort of perfume. You know, 14, 15, 16. Apple, rose, isoe super, a little bit of wood. I do think it's pleasant and it is nice, but it's pretty basic, if I'm being perfectly honest. I can imagine this getting lots of headlines because of the way that the materials have been presented. It's like a fragrance of the future. It does actually give me a slight Ganymede vibe. A very slight, but it does smell a little futuristic in that it's got this freshness, but it's also got this kind of, it's got these like green credentials, you know? And I can imagine certain groups of people jumping on stuff like this, really liking that kind of shtick. To me, Akigala wood, isoe super, apple, which you can't tincture an apple, so it's not natural. It might be upcycled, but it ain't natural. The rose is all right, but it's pretty standard. Performs quite well on skin though, from what I can remember. Anyway, that was I Am Trash. The next fragrance we are coming up to is Marquis de Sade. And I am just pulling up the notes, even though I know there's only one. And it's not a note that I particularly like. Now, speaking of Ganymede, This is the same perfumer that made Ganymede, and it's Quentin Biche. Now, the only note on this is labdanum, and it shows all the different facets of labdanum. It's quite an interesting idea, but I don't care for labdanum. Although, this is done very cleverly. It starts out quite leathery, but even at the top, it's like a rubbery leather, you know. And it's one of the things I don't like about labdanum. There's precious few fragrances I like with labdanum in, or labdanum as a main note or a main accord. And this isn't one of them. It does become a little basic for me. This is, if you're a labdanum lover, you would quite enjoy this because it shows lots of different facets of labdanum. It's very singular, though. It really is very singular. It might be interesting to people, like I say, who really like labdanum, or people who aren't as experienced with labdanum prominent fragrances. As I smell this more and more, I like it less and less. I wish there was just more going on, and I wish there was less going on at the same time, because I wish there was less of the labdanum, but I wish there was like more of like the leather aspect of the labdanum, or the smoky aspect of the labdanum. And it just seems to be whatever I want it to be, it seems to be the opposite, you know. It does remind me at points of Ambra Sultan, which is an amazing fragrance. It's actually the fragrance I'm wearing today. Excuse me whilst I hydrate. It's definitely there. And you can tell the labdanum is a prominent note in Ambra Sultan just by smelling this. If you want to learn more about labdanum, if you aren't as ingratiated in the ways of labdanum, if you like, then this would be a good fragrance to get, or at least sample, because then you could see all the different facets and all the different fragrances that you've smelled that have got labdanum in, and you'd be able to learn something about what labdanum can and does do. But if, like me, you don't like labdanum, I would stay clear of that one. So, the next fragrance we will be going on to is Remarkable People. Now, Remarkable People is one of the more well-known fragrances from this house. It was released in 2015. Don't know who the perfumer is, but the notes are grapefruit, champagne and cardamom, curry tree, black pepper and jasmine, sandalwood, lauranox, and labdanum. Now, lauranox is a synthetic compound, I do believe. Oh, come on. That's the last one. And I think it's like their type of woody amber sort of thing. So that immediately puts it at a disadvantage for me because I don't like woody ambers, but we'll see. I haven't actually smelled this one before. The rest of them I have. Okay, let's see what happens. Big grapefruit. Champagne, I'm sort of getting that kind of... Do you know what it smells like? Do you know when you run a bath and you've put bubble bath in it and the smell of the bubble bath's in the air? Imagine like a clean bubble bath, you know, like drinking champagne in the bath. Oh, I can imagine a lot of people actually quite liking this. I can understand why it's quite popular. I'm getting a tiny trace of the black pepper. Could be the cardamom, to be fair. I'm getting this like ever so slightly spicy vibe. A little bit of softness from the sandalwood. A freshness from the champagne again. It's nice enough. This would be... You've probably smelled these notes before. You've probably smelled this perfume before. You know? It's... fresh, it's clean, it's soapy, but it smells classy. You know, it's giving off that champagne kind of classy sort of smell. A little bit of warm spice, tiny little bit of like... a tiny little bit of, not zest from the pepper, but you know, that kind of peppery, like, oof. It's very pleasant. It's not something I would ever wear. It's not something I would ever buy. It's soft. It smells like bathing products, you know, but like quality bathing products. It's a nice fragrance. I like it, but it's not something I would ever buy, or if I never smelled it again, I'm not sure I would be that bothered, you know. But yeah, it's not huge for me. Not huge. Like, it smells a bit average, if I'm being honest. Niche average, but it's a bit ordinary. And last but not least, La Fin Du Monde. Another very popular Etat Libre d'Orange. Now, I have smelled this before. Oops. So, this is an interesting one. I do like this. This is more in keeping with the aesthetic of the house, in my opinion, for being different, for being a little bit strange. This was made again by Quentin Biche. This is... this is, for me, powdery, irisy, smooth, but with a kick. You know, this is like a... it smells like something you would have smelled at the Tom Ford counter 10 years ago. It has this familiarity, yet this strangeness. And you will know why when I tell you the notes, if you don't already know the notes. So, the notes are ambrette, cumin, vetiver, sandalwood, freesia, popcorn, gunpowder, iris, sesame, styrax, carrot seed. And it just works. It just works. It's got no right popcorn and gunpowder. Right? It's just madness, but it works. And if you close your eyes and smell, you can definitely smell popcorn. Right? This is one of the ones that I'm going to be trying on skin, I can tell you already. It's the type of thing you should get from this type of house, and it's the type of thing you should, when people say expect the unexpected, that's what you should do with Etat, Libre, d'Orange, and this is one of those fragrances, the type of fragrance that makes them famous. This, Secretions Magnifique, Rien, all those a little bit wacky, but still wearable, still what can I say, still acceptable in polite society. You could wear this and people would accept it, even if they thought it smelled a little strange. They would still like it, but you would know that you are in fact wearing popcorn and gunpowder, which is what I like about niche houses, especially about the house of Etat, Libre, d'Orange, that it's strange. But other people might see what they want to see in it, or smell what they want to smell in it. I get the iris, I get the ambrette, I get the popcorn, gunpowder to a point, carrot seed, iris, styrax a bit, yeah. I don't really get the cumin, I don't really get vetiver, I don't really get black pepper. Oh, but it's so good. It really is very nice, that I really like it. Popcorn and gunpowder and iris. So we will quickly track back over what I have sprayed and see how they have settled. I am trash. This reminds me of Cow a little bit by Zoologist, except maybe not as green. This is Marquis de Sade. Big labdanum. It's very, it's only listed one note as labdanum. And it's clearly done that to showcase labdanum's abilities as a note. And it is in a lot of things, and it is very utilitarian, it's very versatile. You can do a lot of things with these. But I just don't like it when it's this prominent. Remarkable People. Remarkable People, remarkably, is the least remarkable fragrance here. Because it's very pleasant. It smells like quality soap. And it's not something that I am particularly interested in. If I want to smell like this, I'll wear Prada Amber Pour On. I don't get us wrong, they're not the same. They're not really even that similar. It's the vibe that they give rather than the smell, But that does smell like quality bathing products. And last but certainly not least, Fin Du Monde. Fantastic fragrance. Dying to try that out on skin. So you will see that one again, definitely. Anyhow, thank you very much for joining me today and trying these fragrances out. I hope you have enjoyed this video. Thank you very much for watching. I shall see you all again soon. Goodbye.